So there was a church in England back in the late 90s, and this was when I guess what you would call contemporary worship started to become a little bit more on the rise. And this church, the head pastor specifically, noticed that just like with all their worship, it just wasn't necessarily the contemporary worship. But he noticed that there was something that was kind of missing in all their forms of worship. It was great that there was this new style that was up and coming. It was great that they had the mix with the traditional, with the contemporary, but yet something was missing. And so he made a very bold move. And what he did is they took away the sound system, they took away the microphones, obviously, and they had no musical instruments whatsoever. And so they started to embark on kind of focusing and getting their hearts back into what worship really is. And so they would sing their songs a cappella every Sunday for a few months. And over time, as they kind of started to dive into the Psalms, and again, what worship really is according to Scripture, which is really, giving our hearts to God, having something to bring, something to offer Him, which is what our worship is. Every week they would introduce something new. So one week it was a piano, and then the next week they added, a guitar with it. Another week they added something else, and then something else. And it transformed this church and what they viewed and what worship really was to them. And is, for that matter. And out of this came one of the more beautiful songs, at least in my lifetime, that was written. And that's Matt Redman's The Heart of Worship. It was his church that did this. And as I'm kind of thinking about what to talk about with you today, it's very fitting because I've kind of found myself, and maybe you have been too, since the world has changed in the last few months. And obviously worship has been very, very different for us. That it's almost kind of been similar to that story, right? Where we kind of refocus, and worship has a very different perspective for me. And of course, I long for the day where we can, as a church, come back together. And it's been great doing the Lord's Supper together. It's been great having a little bit of normalcy by gathering again on a Sunday morning, Saturday, and what will be tonight too on a Monday night. But to have the people come back and worship together, corporately together, which is one of the worship words that we talked about a few weeks ago. That is important for us, not only to grow as believers, but it's also the opportunity for us to give God something in our worship, and that is our worship from our souls. And so for me, it's changed. And church, I am looking forward to the day where we can actually worship our God together again publicly. And I envision, and I guess what I'm excited for is just kind of the voices being louder than they ever have been before, to sing like never before. And it's going to be a great day, and that kind of is what keeps me going each and every day, just that anticipation of us coming together and praising and worshiping our God with everything that we have inside of us. So it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great day. Love you, miss you. Have a great holiday week. Be safe. And, know that we love you.